Welcome back to Spork Syndicate. This is Tom. It's Four Horsemen time. Let's have some fun. This month's build is a Hot Wheels Shelby Cobra done out in old NASCAR trim. The Cobra was raw, super-powered muscle. 500 horsepower with a curb weight of just 2,200 pounds. In high school, I did a term paper on it. Until the Cobra, the Corvette held the U.S. record for 0 to 100, back down to 0 in 30 seconds. The Shelby Cobra lowered that record to 8. Thankfully, Hot Wheels has kept the Cobra in its rotation. I've already drilled and tapped the posts. Let's see what we have here. A 2-seat interior with a roll bar for the driver, a blue tinted windshield, a white base that actually works with my plans, and the body, decked out in Hot Wheels racing livery. Time to dunk the body into CITRISRIP Paint Stripper. Shake it up to make sure it sinks below the surface. And there we are. I'll leave it in there for a few hours. That is one gnarly finish. I use a steel wool Dremel attachment to remove the grit and all the imperfections I can. Now that things look a little cleaner, I can see a lot of casting lines. These need to go. I start by filing the lines flush with the body. Before I get to sanding, I change heads on the Dremel and grind off the license plate on the trunk. It's a race car, so it wouldn't have tags. Sanding begins with 150 and 300 grit heads on my Dremel. I'll work with finer and finer sandpaper to gradually smooth the body. I eventually get to my finest sandpaper, 3000 and 7000 grit. Since changing to plastic bases, the Cobra's side pipes look like earthworms. There's no hole at the end of the exhaust. A quick snip and a little fine boring helped remedy that. For a base coat, I chose a pearlized black, which reads a little gray, but I like it. Old NASCAR cars had a charm to them. Many didn't have big primary sponsors. Some were car dealerships or other local businesses. But even though they were presented as stock cars, they stood out. Some were memorable, like the Petty Blue STP. Others were remembered simply by their number. I was probably the only teenager in New Jersey in the 1980s with a subscription to Stock Car Racing magazine, and I was a Bill Elliott fan. That meant I hated Dale Earnhardt. Dale Earnhardt became a dominant force in stock car racing out of sheer will, earning the name the Intimidator.
Terry got into me in the middle of 3 and 4, and I was going to get back to him and just rattle him. I wasn't going to wreck him, but I got to him and he turned him around. So didn't mean to really turn around, meant to rattle his cage over.
He was also known simply as 3. The 3, especially when it was squared off and slanted like Earnhardt's, was a simple declaration of dominance. In the movie Zombieland, Woody Harrelson's character Tallahassee is introduced driving a black SUV with a white number 3 on the side. When they switch to a gaudy yellow Hummer H2, the number 3 completes the look. Earnhardt's impact was felt around the world. Australian Formula One driver Daniel Ricciardo chose number 3 because of him. A little over a decade ago, I went to see the NASCAR All-Star Weekend in Charlotte, North Carolina. There was a boulder on the hillside where my friend and I camped with the same squared-off number 3. On Google Maps, I found the boulder but can't make out the 3. But it's nice to know it's still there. The gray stripes are supposed to go along the bottom, but this is a Shelby Cobra. They go on in a pair, over the hood scoop, and around the back of the trunk. I've been looking forward to this build for a few months now. It was very satisfying to put an Earnhardt 3 on a car. In addition to decals, I used my chrome paint pen to catch some of the details, like the gas cap. The headlights and taillights got chromed as well. Everything's now ready for reassembly. Petty, Schumacher, Johnson, Hamilton, and Earnhardt, 7-time champions in their sport. Dale won races even when he didn't have the fastest car on the track. He just outdrove everyone around him. He was a pugilist. He perfected the bump draft. The Intimidator never gave an inch. Champions never do. Following Dale Earnhardt's death at the 2001 Daytona 500, no car with the number 3 raced in NASCAR for more than a dozen years. The number will always be his. Before he died, I stopped hating Dale Earnhardt. I recognized his greatness and how he outworked everyone around him to intimidate and dominate. So you know whose car this is. I really love Cobras. "11 Four Horsemen builds down, 1 to go, and now I have a new Cobra for my collection." For Spork Syndicate, this is Tom. See you again real soon.
It might be this to the start-finish line, they'll get the white and the yellow together.
Lake Speed and John Andretti tangle as the leaders head for turn number 3. Andretti and Spencer got together.
This could be the Daytona 500. Bobby Labonte goes to the outside.
Labonte up high. Earnhardt uses the lap car of Rick Bass as a pick. 20 years of trying, 20 years of frustration. Dale Earnhardt will come to the caution flag to win the Daytona 500. Finally. Look out on pit road. Every man on every crew has come out to the edge of pit lane to congratulate the man who has dominated everything there is to win in this sport, except this race, until today. There goes the grass.
Yeah, goodbye.
Out of his car and listen to this.